You're telling me I can't take out my patient's A-line? That's not okay. 12 hours day in and day out with the mask doing that to your face? That's not okay. Hey guys, how are you? Welcome to my channel. If you guys are new, welcome. Don't forget to hit the little subscribe button down below as well as the little bell so you will get a notification every time I post a new video. So I had today off and I wanted to sit down and finally just film an update video for you guys. So if you guys are new to my channel, new to this video, then this is my 1 month update video since I have been a travel nurse in New York during the COVID crisis. So I will make sure to link in the card section a few videos that I have already filmed about my time here in New York so far, mostly just vlog style. So just to give you guys a very quick backstory before I go into the update, I have been in New York since the early part of April. So like I said, I have hit my 1 month mark by the time you guys are seeing this video. So I am working in the ICU. It is a COVID ICU that I'm working in, dealing with all COVID patients. So I am a travel nurse as well, just in case you guys are new to my channel and you guys don't know that. I have been a travel nurse since the beginning of 2020 after separating honorably, of course, from the Air Force. I served 3 years in the Nurse Corps. So that just gives you guys just a quick backstory if you guys are new to my channel. So I am staying in the Brooklyn location in New York, but I am working at a hospital in Queens. So my time in New York has been quite a whirlwind. Let me just say that. Let's go ahead and segue into the update by saying that. So I am working a COVID crisis assignment. So before I came to New York, I was in DC on a travel contract. And I had the opportunity to extend, but I decided not to because I knew that New York was a place that I wanted to come and I wanted to help out with the crisis. So I had the opportunity to come to New York. I was going to be at one hospital, but that contract fell through, which is something that happens as a travel nurse. Like, you just have to really be flexible and roll with it. So I ended up being able to get a same day position offered to me at the facility that I'm now at in Queens. So, like I said, this is strictly a COVID crisis contract. So I work in the MICU, which is the medical ICU, and I'm working with strictly COVID patients. So these are patients that are intubated, some of them are prone. A lot of them have had very lengthy hospital stays. Like, some of them have been there long before I even got to the facility. So my time here has been very interesting. It was a lot at first to get used to. Being a travel nurse, you do have to have you have to carry around a tremendous tool belt. Not just as a nurse, which is something that you have to do already, but especially being a travel nurse, because you are thrown into situations that you might not be familiar with, or situations that you just have to just kind of go with the flow because you're not part of their everyday staff and you just have to get used to the way, other facilities operate. So apart from my 1 day of hospital orientation and 1 shadow shift, I was thrown onto the floor and was given my schedule and off we went. I had to learn the culture of the unit that I'm working on, as well as the culture of the hospital that I'm working at. So it's been interesting to say the least. A lot of things that nurses do or don't do here, I can't say if it's the New York state of nursing. So if anybody is watching this and you're a nurse in New York, you guys can let me know. So I don't know if it's just this facility and their guidelines and policies for nurses, or if it's the actual New York State Board of Nursing in general. So there are things that their nurses can and cannot do, and I had to learn that super quick. So I'm like, wait a minute, like, we're DCing my patient's art line because it went bad and we're going to put it on the other side, and you're telling me I can't take out my patient's A line? Like, what? Like, the doctor's coming in and doing that for me, or the advanced practice provider is doing that? Like, I know how to take out an A-line and like hold some pressure for, like 10 minutes. Like, that's what? So that's something that I also wanted to kind of address in this video as well. A lot of people ask me, what is it like being a travel nurse? You really have to be flexible. You have to understand that a lot of times you're just thrown into the floor. I was just lucky enough to get like a shadow shift, but a lot of times you're not. A lot of times the needs are so great and they're so pressed for nurses that they're like, hey, we're so glad you're here. We're going to throw you on the floor, and if you need anything, like, these are the people that you can contact if you need something. So yeah. But other than that, my time has been going well so far. It took some time for me to adjust to also being on day shift, because even in the Air Force and then transitioning out of the Air Force to my travel contract in DC, I was working night shift. So even that transition to day shift was a little bit of an adjustment for me. But I definitely feel like I've gotten into a good flow. I've got a good schedule down packed. So that transition was really good for me, and I have to say that I have missed day shift. Even though there are a lot of things going on, a lot of people in my patient's room all the time, I do miss day shift. Okay, so a lot of people really want to know, what is it like working a crisis, or what is it like dealing with COVID patients? These are your typical ICU patients. There's literally nothing that is too much out of line from your patient care that varies when you're dealing with your COVID patients. It's just the immense capacity of your intubations and everything that you have to deal with that makes the pandemic so scary. And I think what people don't seem to realize is, yes, we've had the influenza pandemic. Yes, we've had, H1N1. Yes, we had the AIDS epidemic in the 80s and things like that. But it was a lot of unknown. Like, we don't know exactly what this virus is doing to the body. Now we have this issue with, the children being affected with this like musculoskeletal type disease process and things like that. So it's a lot of what ifs, it's a lot of unknowns and things like that. So that's what makes it really, really different, in my opinion, than some of these other pandemics that we've seen before. And then it was the whole, like, do we know how it's spread? Is it aerosolized? Is it droplet? Like, all of this at the very beginning, which honestly, people still don't know. Okay, so I'll go into a typical day on the unit for me, which I've kind of done like a day in the life before when I did like my takeover on the nursling. But I will get to work, I will change into a full body, I'll do like a full outfit change. So I'll wear either like a white bunny suit, or I'll wear paper scrubs. I have shoe covers, I have a hairnet, I have my N95 as well as a surgical mask that goes over the N95, and then on top of whatever I physically have on, I will have a gown. I'll have, like the plastic gown that goes over that, and then I have gloves on. So anytime we are changing patient rooms, even though all of the patients are COVID positive, we are changing gowns and changing gloves, doing hand hygiene. So every time you enter into a different unit, whether it's the MICU, the SICU, or even your actual standard like med-surg floors, because those have also been converted into ICUs, those are called your zone 3s. So your zone 3s require you to have full head to toe PPE coverage. So I've talked about that a little bit before as well. When you're not in your zone 3s, you go to your zone 2s and your zone 1s. So you just have to know what PPE to wear accordingly. And so, of course, anytime you're in the hospital, regardless, you do at least have to wear some type of mask over your face. So for my travel contract, I do have a standard travel contract. It's 8 weeks, it's 48 hours, so I work 4 shifts a week. I do have the opportunity to pick up more overtime. So I have a lot of people asking me about like my work-life balance, like how do I balance working like that with the intensity of the unit and just with how overwhelming it can be, because it can be extremely overwhelming. It's very sad. I have witnessed patient deaths. I have witnessed just sad moments with patients and their families over the FaceTime calls that they get. So it can be very, very sad and very overwhelming. So for me, just trying to balance like my work-life balance, I stick to a very strict sleep schedule so I can make sure that I'm getting enough sleep. I do try to get out when I'm not at work and get as much like fresh air as I can. I definitely try to talk to my family and friends as much as I can because I don't believe in self-isolation. Even if I don't talk to them about work, because I try to keep a separate line and that separation between work and home, I at least try to talk to them or FaceTime them and see what's going on. Of course, I have, social media like you guys. I like sitting down, I like talking to you and interacting. So that's like an outlet for me. And then, of course, I have my, I have God. That's my faith, my religion. I'm always relying on God for restoration of my mind, my physical, mental, emotional strength, and preservation. So I always try to find just ways to keep myself going. So I also believe that is very, very important. And then just to touch on the travel nurse piece, I know this video is kind of like a mesh between my update video and then just a little bit of like travel nursing and some pros thrown in there. But I also have school, so that is somewhat of an outlet for me, and travel nursing has allowed me to have that flexibility that I needed for school. So even right now, like my summer classes have already started, so even on my days off, like I know that I have work that I need to be doing. I know that I have things that I need to, read and catch up on and things like that. So that is also an outlet for me. So in a nutshell, I just wanted to sit down and talk to you guys about how work has been going, which has been actually going well overall. My coworkers and I have really good camaraderie together, just working in the MICU. I have been able to float to a couple other floors that are not on a good day an ICU. But during the crisis, they have been transformed into an ICU. So on a good day, they are your med-surg units. But during this crisis, they have been converted into ICUs. So you have, your 2 vented patients per room. It's almost mind-boggling the very first time I floated down there with just the immense noise, the immense people running around, the alarms going off. It was almost so overwhelming at first. When I got home that day, I literally needed no less than 30 minutes of silence because it was so overwhelming. I almost can't even describe it. I really can't. It was the strangest thing I've ever experienced. It's almost like going into the Twilight Zone, but I digress. So yeah, I just wanted to talk to you guys about how things have been going. I'm still doing like my face prep and things like that, just to try to keep my skin from breaking down. Honestly, the first few shifts I literally had nothing on my skin and I started getting like breakdown on my nose, but I think it's pretty much healed now, so I'm constantly putting stuff on my face. Let me show you guys really quick because I get so many questions about what I'm putting on my skin. So the Band-Aid Hydroseal All-Purpose, it has like a little bit of a cushion. That's where I place it on my nose. This, and right here around my cheek portion, because I do have like puffy little high cheeks like that. So I just use Tegaderm, and because I get the large size, I cut them in half, so that way I have 2 per cheek, and it makes the box last longer as well. So this is literally Tegaderm, and it literally works perfect for me, and I don't have mask lines on my face, which that's wonderful, you guys. Yes, I've seen those pictures on Instagram. I love the fact that I have my healthcare brothers and sisters out there doing their thing on the front lines, but that's not okay. Your face should not be broken down like that. Yeah, you might, think that's cool. You might want to snap a pic for the gram, snap a pic for your family, like, hey, look what the mask did to my face. But that's not okay. That's not okay. 12 hours, day in and day out, with the mask doing that to your face, that's not okay. So this is what I've been using. And like I said, it's been working well for me. I have not had any breakouts on my skin from these products, but I do have breakouts on my face from the mask. So I will be doing a skincare video coming up with some products that I have used for my skincare routine. Alright guys, so I just wanted to sit down and share my update with you guys, how New York's been going for me, how work has been going for me, as well as just throw in a little bit of talk on travel nursing and then a little bit of skincare talk as well. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Leave me your thoughts and comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel as well on your way out if you guys have not already, and then click the little bell so you'll be notified every time I post a new video, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye guys!